Kinetic Modifications is an upcoming Tier 2 arsenal technology. Inside of this tech, you'll get 3 PKA mod kits. One is damage, range, and fire rate. These mod kits can be made out of proto lathe for 15 steel, 5 gold, and 5 silver apiece. And of course, well, a hyper lathe will be cheaper. So salvage can technically acquire these themselves because they can get proto lathes themselves. They just need science to actually research them. These turn PKAs into very, very strong weapons. A default PKA only shoots one shot every 2 seconds. It has a range of about 5.5 tiles roughly, does 25 blunt and 30 structural a shot, but even with 25 blunt and 30 structural, that's effectively only 12.5 DPS due to the low fire rate. So very simply to start, a PKA can have 2 modifications, but they can only be different modifications. So you can either give one a range and a damage and a fire rate and a range, etc. You cannot put 2 identical mods in. So just immediately I put in a range mod. So usually you could shoot about 5.5 tiles away from a target. So I'm 5 tiles away. No issue if I move to 6, just a little bit off. But with the range modifier, you can actually shoot nearly to the edge of your screen, not quite. But not only does the extra range of the PKA's range extender make it shoot further, it also increases the velocity because technically it doesn't actually increase the range. The projectile despawns at the same time, but the velocity is faster, so it travels more distance before it despawns. Anyways, effectively, it means you'll hit your shots a little bit easier and you have further range tile. The fire rate modifier, when put in a PKA, will change the fire rate from 0.5 to 0.8. I might just have to shoot it for it to update. Let me see. And there we go. Yeah, 0.8. So this effectively will actually give you an extra 7.5 DPS on your PKA because it almost doubles the fire rate, not quite. Compared to just the raw damage upgrade, this is actually an increase of DPS. The damage modifier, when installed in a PKA, you can't actually see it, will give the PKA 10 more blunt and 15 more structural damage per shot. So you go from 25 blunt to 35 blunt a shot, and 30 structural to 45 structural a shot. So a PKA with just the damage is a 17.5 DPS, which is worse than the 20 DPS of PKA with a fire rate upgrade. But if you get both, the PKA actually goes up to a whopping 28 DPS. Yeah, you can only have the 5 tile range, but this is far extending actual melee range, and you can shoot surprisingly fast with this. It feels really good to use in this way because you're just always shooting. The faster fire rate means if you miss a shot, that's fine. You're doing 10 more damage blunt-wise a shot, so if you hit, you're doing quite a lot. So like somebody wearing a blood red, if you shoot them with the upgraded PKA, you're doing 17 blunt damage to them roughly because their helmet and the body armor. You're almost 5. You're practically 5-shot critting nukies, and that's almost within 5 seconds. Yeah, they'll kill you faster, but just imagine arming a few scientists and a few people on the station with the PKA and these upgrades. Like, science can mass produce these things really easily as long as they get some gold and silver. They're really, really cheap. Like, this puts something like this Avalon to shame. It's a lower tier tech. It has way more usefulness because it's infinite ammo, doesn't need recharging. And you could also decide to just give damage and range, so you can sit all the way out here where a lot of kinetic guns start becoming inaccurate at this range. But the PKA, no, it hits very fast. It's almost, I'm pretty sure it's faster than a bullet even. Yeah, like the PKA with the range upgrade is actually a faster velocity than a normal bullet. So, like, you could actually have an easier time hitting a nuke this far away. So don't discount range upgrades. For most mobs, so Carp have 40 HP. So theoretically, you're not really going to get a faster time to kill putting the damage modifier on. So theoretically, if you're only fighting Carp, you should consider just doing the range and fire rate upgrade or just fire rate. Sharkminnows have 150 HP, so there you'd want damage and fire rate for max DPS. Most space mobs have 90 or 100 HP, or I think all of them have 90 or 100, which means that you want damage and fire rate for faster time to kill. Goliaths have 250 HP, and having extra range can help against them, but oftentimes you're not really shooting at salvage mobs this far away. So I feel like it's hard to justify the range upgrade in a lot of situations. It can help if you're like sitting out in space with a jetpack to hit your shots easier because remember the better velocity. But generally, mobs are dumb. They just run straight at you. So realistically, in most cases, I think just getting the damage and fire rate is going to be the way to go. If anything, prioritize fire rate first if you can only have one for some reason, but get both generally. Also, where things get real interesting is PKAs with damage and fire rate can shoot through airlocks and reinforced walls pretty quickly. I'm just going to flash the numbers up on screen real quick. But a reinforced wall with a PKA with damage and fire rate can actually be shot down in only 24 seconds, which is twice as fast as an energy sword. Even just having damage is faster than the fire rate on a wall because you get the extra structural and blunt. And an airlock with damage or fire rate, you can shoot down in 10 seconds. Like, I don't even need to show the stats here. This is also faster than an energy sword, which is crazy. But here's the thing, if you're in tag, well, one of those actually missed. If you're in tag trying to shoot through an airlock, a PKA raises less eyebrows than an energy sword. It's free. You actually have almost the same damage as an energy sword in terms of DPS, and it's ranged. Honestly, this is probably too strong, but I don't want to interject balance. We'll see how it happens or how it goes. It's only on Vulture for now, so I think on paper this sounds insane. The PKA's already been a really good gun in general. Who doesn't like infinite ammo? But this is probably just a little too cheap and easy to get for how effective it is in almost all scenarios. I mean, the thing's only a 2x3 for God's sake. It's not even like the size of normal guns. Anyways, still really cool to see. I'd really like to see more complex modifications in the future, and thank you for watching.